Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new edition of the NoDQ review number 167 on the eve of Christmas Eve, and I am Virtue, being joined by this week's elite panel of NoDQ. Of course, Aaron Rift, wearing a fantastic brand new shirt over on NoDQ.com/merch. Jargo is back again, and Noah Foster is making his return. Gentlemen, what's up this evening on the eve of Christmas Eve? Noah, since you're back, what's going on, Mr. Positivity of Professional Wrestling?
Hey, hello, Virtue. Good to see you. Good to see you too, Aaron. And I look forward to chatting with you for the first time, Jargo. And Merry Christmas Eve to the entire NoDQ Galaxy. And overall, I just feel really good. We literally just got done watching A Year Without Santa Claus. Haven't seen that for years because it used to be a family tradition, but my father, God rest his soul, been gone for over a decade. So that was wholesome. Besides that, I'm just looking forward to Christmas Eve dinner prep tomorrow, finishing the stockings and preparing for Christmas Day. It's been a nice, wholesome, joyful half work day, to say the least. And I'm looking forward to the holiday ahead and this discussion with y'all too. It's good to be back.
Cool. I was actually off today, Noah, and I opened up Christmas presents today because I'm so busy tomorrow and Christmas doing other stuff with other family members. I opened gifts today, and as you can see, I got the new shirt. You got one of these, Noah?
Not yet. I haven't bought any like wrestling merch or memorabilia for quite a while because I've been, selling into my new house. Again, I've only been here now for a month and a half, and it's been quite a financial challenge, to say the least, but I'm happy.
That's much more important, though, so kudos, congratulations on that. All right, Jargo, we didn't do anything with Vito this week because they were off, so here we are on the review live. What's up?
Man, if I would have known that Noah was going to be bringing a suit game and you'd be wearing a t-shirt of a guy in a suit, like maybe I would have dressed up a little bit, but instead, I went Bullet Club. It's a pleasure to be back. Happy to be with the NoDQ Galaxy. Noah, it's a pleasure to be on the show with you. And Virtue, I will absolutely respect your shirt game, although man, they are just pumping out the merch for Roman Reigns these days. I don't think I've ever seen them try so badly to sell merch for a heel as they are right now with Roman Reigns. It's a little bit crazy.
Well, we're going to talk about this shirt's actually dated, right, with Paul Heyman right there, or is it? That's going to be our big main event discussion later this evening. So, Jargo, we'll be back to you shortly. Thanks for being on. Of course, Aaron Rift, you're rocking the I Am Sorry Virtue shirt. What's up?
I'm doing well. Looking forward to tonight's discussion. Great to have Jargo and Noah Foster with us this week. I'm loving the Bloodline shirt, and I'm just looking to see you wear that new Needle Mover shirt since it says Jobber on it, and that's a pretty interesting shirt right there. And am I off the screen? Oh,
no, you're on.
Okay. Anyways, I'm ready to get the
and I'll get
rolling.
that Needle Mover shirt, by the way. I mean, I got like the head of the table shirt, the show up, wreck 'em or whatever, and this one, I'll get it at some point.
All right, and chat room, be sure to leave your comments, and we will put some of them up on the screen as we go along here. Virtue, let's get the ball rolling.
And here's what I'm starting with. Noah, I'm going to come right to you first because you haven't been on in a while, and you are a big AEW fan, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this topic is Tony Khan, right? Booker of the Year last year, according to Dave Meltzer. Probably going to get it again this year. You know what? He gives the wrestling fans what they want. I am not arguing that at all. But here's my question to the panel today about Tony Khan. What does he do right and what does he do wrong as an owner booker? It's two, right? An owner and a booker. He overlaps a lot of roles. But you are an avid AEW fan, so I'm coming right to you first. And I'm anxious to hear if you say he does anything wrong. But go ahead. Floor is yours, man.
It's one of those things where, again, it's subjective because, again, I look at the world of professional wrestling as a fan, not necessarily as a businessman, but at the end of the day, it is a business. When I forget about Tony Khan, his approach to the industry, it's like you said, he renews excitement and investment in professional wrestling. That's one of his core strengths. When it comes to his presentation of his key product, there's always a different type of variation and presentation. I never feel like 2 episodes of Dynamite feel the same unlike other stuff I watch weekly or keep up with. As far as what he's done maybe wrong, there's still key moments and areas of improvement when I think it comes to roster presentation. A key example was the Wardlow match, of course, pushing that character forward, but at the expense of a signed AEW star. It's one of those spots where I feel like he should use like local independent talent. And as far as the women's division, there's always room for improvement, but he's definitely capitalizing on trying to push their potential. So I don't think right now he does a lot of things wrong when it comes to me and what I expect to see from a weekly wrestling product that engages me, entertains me, and leaves me wanting more. So I don't really have a lot to say from a negative standpoint or needs of areas for improvement. If there's anything I can say about Tony Khan, he feels like an equal. He doesn't feel like he's above us when he always engages us pre-show and after the show, whether on social media or at the venues itself. I just appreciate everything that AEW as a whole brings forward to the entire wrestling business. It's not perfect, but it definitely is a bright light.
Now, before I say what he does wrong, I will say
Please
what
do.
he does right. What he does right is bring in talent. I mean, he's brought in those names that create a buzz for that audience: CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Adam Cole, recently Kyle O'Reilly, which we're going to talk about later. So he does that right. Tony Khan is giving wrestlers jobs and he's letting them wrestle, right? And there's a fan base that likes that. So I'm going to pass it over to Jargo now because I don't want to start getting into the long wind of what I'm going to say he does wrong. But Jargo, Mr. Tony Khan, son of a billionaire.
My analysis of Tony at this point, I guess you kind of got to look at it from two different perspectives, right? Like as far as a booker goes, I have no complaints with what Tony Khan is doing. He's trying to, pay homage to the past while bringing it into a future context. We know Tony is an old school pro wrestling fan. He was into the dirt sheets. He was flying across the country to go to ECW shows. He's been booking like fantasy territories in his head for years. And now we're just kind of seeing it play out on a screen. So as far as like the booking part of it goes, I don't have a whole lot of complaints. The ownership part of AEW, we're kind of in that C kind of range for me. I don't need the owner of the company going back at random fans on Twitter and giving them a platform that they shouldn't have had to begin with. There's so much about Tony as a personality, as an owner. And we've seen it with the Jaguars. We've seen it with Fulham, where he just does not take criticism well in one way or another. And he feels like he has to go back at these people. And I think he just needs to take a bit of a step back and get his name out of the limelight and just focus on the booking of the company, the promotion of the company, rather than, sitting around and worrying about little dweebs on Twitter have to say about him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of those dweebs, right? And now he doesn't take my bait. So it's funny. Dave Meltzer doesn't take my bait either. So they're probably fans and actually enjoy content. I am not blocked by either one of them. So Aaron, there was a super chat that came in. I'll pass over to you before I will say what I think Tony Khan does wrong.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat says the Booker of the Year should always be Booker T. Fair enough.
Thank you for that super chat.
I can kind of agree with that.
I feel like the Booker of the Year is always Gato. I mean, and whenever you're booking the G1, immediately you win Booker of the Year to me.
All right. Well, I have little to add to what Noah and Jargo said. I think that they pretty much summed up how I feel. I think for the most part, Tony Khan has done very well with AEW. He's running the show, and I think he's doing a tremendous job overall. Very few complaints. Now, the Twitter game, I agree with Jargo on that. I think that he might want to maybe tone it down a little bit and not respond to the negativity so much. Last week, there was a Fox News article, and Tony Khan responded to that, and he comes off like a spoiled little rich kid. And that's the negative stereotype that people have of Tony Khan. They see him as a guy who has a lot of money because of his family, and he can buy all the wrestlers that he wants. He needs to just tweet to promote AEW and leave it at that. Look at the Vince McMahon account, and I don't even think that's Vince that tweets, but
No, probably not.
No way, that's Vince.
You just want to tweet out
What's
things
Twitter?
to promote the brand, and that's it. Don't respond to the negativity. Don't feed the trolls. And I think that's maybe the one fault of Tony Khan is that he seems to let people get to him, and everything AEW has to be perfect, and there's nothing wrong with AEW. I think that's his one major issue at this point. We do have a few more super chats here. We got
Go ahead.
our good friend Jerry Slaughter with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Jerry. We very much appreciate it. He says, this panel is a gift in itself. Merry Christmas, guys. Tony Khan is doing well, but still learning. I think after a while, he's in danger of oversaturating the roster. They are wrestlers, not Pokemon cards.
Ooh.
Well,
I
I'm
kind of
sure.
understand where he's coming from, because you got to consider that AEW is now just a little over 2 years old, and there's going to be talk next year about contracts, renewals, etc. And in this shared wrestling universe that Tony Khan wants to include everybody, there's definitely going to be, I feel like, more rotation. But yeah, you did bring up a key thought about that too. There is some points of social media where I'm like, just stay off the freaking accounts.
Right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, imagine someone getting a Roman Reigns push in AEW. People would not like that, Virtue. I think if one guy got pushed above others, fans would not be happy with that. One thing that Tony Khan does, and like it or hate it, he tries to give everybody a shot. He tries to give everybody some TV time and tries to give everybody a chance to be in the spotlight. WWE, they're trying to build a larger-than-life mainstream superstar in Roman Reigns, and that's the guy they're running with. And some fans don't like that Roman Reigns is above everybody else. And AEW, everyone's kind of like on the same level. So, Virtue, I guess we'll go over to you now, and you can add to that. Or
WWE does have occasionally Brock Lesnar, so at least they have like a 1B to Roman Reigns. But here's the problem with Tony Khan. He's like Doc Ock and Spider-Man, right? He has his arms and his hands in too many cookie jars. Like, he's the owner of the company, right? And he's obviously learning the wrestling business. And I get that you want to promote it. So I don't have a problem with Tony Khan's Twitter, not going at fans, but promoting things. What I don't like is he'll be on Busted Open Radio, and any criticism that comes through, he changes the question. Like he tries to divert it, like you said, Aaron. He doesn't want any criticism. He's going against articles like Fox. He does too many things when he should have maybe some of his talent, some of his wrestlers, a GM, a spokesperson to take that heat from him so he can sit in the back and just run the show. If he wants to run the show, fine. I don't want to know he's running the show. I don't want to hear him on a podcast telling everybody what matches he's going to put together because, you know what I mean? That's what the fans want. I want whoever does that to do it behind the scenes. And if Tony Khan wants to be an on-screen character, which to me, this is what this is evolving to, that's why he likes to address the crowd, right? It's all about him, me, Tony Khan. And what happens when you're a billionaire son with all that money, it's great. You just put a wrestling promotion together and got a TV deal and you're rivaling WWE in some ways. That is fantastic. You're catering to a wrestling audience. I get it, right? And he's made that clear. He doesn't want to lose any of them. And if that means alienating casual fans, he'll do it. I said this from day one. The reason why I like those first few months of AEW, and I know the EVPs were kind of doing the booking. We don't really know what Tony Khan was doing those first 3 or 4 months in 2019. We know Jericho was the champion. I enjoyed it because I didn't see Tony Khan front and center all the time. Then all of a sudden he became front and center. I pulled back a little bit, and then the fans that love AEW, no matter what, they became toxic. So to me, if Tony Khan just stayed in his little role away from cameras and microphones, unless it really meant something, I would probably sing a different tune. And I don't hate AEW, but I'm just saying Tony Khan, to me, spoiled little rich kid. Hey, I know more about the business than anybody. And that's how he comes across. Anybody want to refute me on any of that? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do, because I feel like you are a result of the bubble that you live inside, Virtue. Because if you just watch the TV show, how many times have we seen Tony Khan on camera? Because I'm pretty sure I can count on one hand over the course of 3 years the number of times we've actually seen Tony Khan on camera. If Tony Khan is front and center to what you are seeing from AEW, that is from a social media in the bubble that you have yourself entrenched in. Because as somebody who doesn't consider himself entrenched in that bubble, most of the time when I hear about Tony Khan, it's from outside sources. I never see him on the TV show. They might mention his name once in a while, but I never see Tony Khan in a ring with a microphone cutting a promo. I never see him coming out. I'm not.
He was on TV.
Nobody saw the stuff with Impact. Obviously, look at Impact's viewership numbers.
This is my point. He was.
But
getting
I'm saying
his feet
on
wet.
AEW television, how many times have we seen Tony Khan?
That's a thing.
It's going to happen. That's what you keep saying. It's going to happen, but it hasn't happened. So what are we complaining about? We're complaining about something that hasn't happened yet? Really?
That's 95% of wrestling fans follow wrestling on social media and off of the television. So I don't know what bubble.
Agree with that whatsoever.
They absolutely do. And Aaron runs a website. You might be one of the few
in the
that
bubble,
don't.
bro.
I'm not in the
you got to get out of the bubble.
You're in the 5% bubble that maybe thinks that other way. Wrestling fans are on social media all the time. How do I know that? Because when an event's happening, especially AEW, what am I reading on Twitter? The best thing just happened. No matter what it is, that's the best thing that just happened.
Here's what you do, Virtue.
You're one of the few.
Get the hell off of Twitter.
That's where my audience is.
If you want Tony Khan to go away, get off of Twitter and you won't see him anymore because I do not see him on the TV show.
Dude,
everybody keeps telling me, I don't want Tony Khan to become an on-screen character. It's such a bad idea. He's not an on-screen character. So what are we talking about?
I think it's more so just figured about what you might see in the future based on what you've already seen in the past. But I agree with you here, Jargo. He hasn't been on screen. Again, besides the Impact Wrestling stuff, and I'm a fan of Impact Wrestling, and besides the Brody Lee tribute, Tony Khan has not even been literally on our screens. There was a recap one time with a Forbes photo shoot, and honestly, that's probably the most recent thing I can remember. When it comes to social media, I don't have notifications. I don't live in it. I literally talk during wrestling, and that's really about it. But when the fans are literally pretty much, I feel, dictated or, assimilated in some way or brainwashed to believe this idea that you exist 24/7 except on my screen, but it's going to happen. I feel it leads to some sort of like negative impulse as to what you think this product is going to become versus what it's already has been. Again, Tony Khan, he literally is backstage. I went to AEW live, and I'm going again in Cleveland. The only time I saw Tony Khan was before the show. He welcomed the audience and hyped the crowd, and that's about it. Sometimes he's there after everything goes off the air, and that's just a little bit of humor and all that type of stuff, and that's fine. You want to send everybody home happy, but besides taking 15, 20 minutes with a pointless vignette and making it all about yourself, Tony Khan doesn't do that.
He's Doc Ock, and you guys, all you wanted to focus on was he's not on AEW TV, but yet he has to do Meltzer's show. Is Vince McMahon ever going to do Meltzer's show? He has to be on Busted Open Radio. He's on, which if they have followings, I'm going to get that to a point, right? Because it's promotion. But he's on. I've seen him on shows like we invited him on the NoDQ review because I've seen him do shows that probably get less views than we do. Tony, what are you doing? Just run your company and stop being out there defending it at every crack. To me, that comes off sour, right? And that is a flaw of his. That is an absolute.
You know why he's not going to be on here? Because it's not going to be all.
And that was the first one. I apologize to him for being so hard on him. But like I said, when I see AEW and I see how he's operating it, he's giving all those fans what they want. Kudos, because those fans are burned out from WWE, right? I put him over for that. But WWE's even alienating casual fans these days because they're not changing their product to make it interesting. I don't want to see Tony Khan cater to just diehards, and all of a sudden all of wrestling only caters to fans. Because, Jargo, you and I have had this argument before. I had my most fun being a wrestling fan when I went to school, right? And I know I have to go all the way back to high school. It didn't matter, like, if it was a jock, some of the nerds, the burnouts playing hacky sack in the gym. Pretty much we all mingled and talked about wrestling because it was so hot back then. I know we don't have to get back to that, but I just like to be out in public. And if I talk wrestling with someone, I don't want them to think I'm a loser. You know what I mean? And I just want wrestling to be cool again. And I don't know. That's why I'm so hard on Tony Khan, because he has that chance to make his product that next cool thing, because we know WWE ain't going to do anything outside of this guy. So, you know, I get a little frustrated because I see an opportunity there for something new and cool to happen. And I get it. You're happy. Jargo, you got New Japan, right? You're talking me to get interested in Wrestle Kingdom
I like
this
this
year.
guy.
Yeah, like, so I don't know. You know how it is. Hard on my sleeve.
Oh, well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I've got plenty of complaints about New Japan Pro Wrestling right now, especially when they've got Evil going out there and having 38-minute matches.
Don't mention that name. Thank you. For the love of God, Ishii beat this guy at Wrestle Kingdom. Sorry, off topic.
I mean, beat him into freaking oblivion. But I feel like the biggest problem that I have with professional wrestling at this point is marketing. I feel like it's marketing, because there's so many people like Virtue that think that we need to cater and we need to market to the casual fan so that we can bring more people in. And I guess my counter to that is, when I watch NFL advertising, they cater to football fans, and they are trying to show you how cool it is to be a football fan because of the football. My problem with professional wrestling is they just don't advertise like they should. They only advertise inside of their already existing bubble, where they need to be advertising on other programming to try to get people to be like, wow, that looks really cool. I want to watch that. But you're not necessarily marketing to the casual fan. You're marketing to wrestling fans and showing them wrestling. I don't feel like we necessarily need to market to casual fans. We just need to market where the casual fans are.
And I don't want,
which is everywhere else, pretty much.
Yeah,
so just,
I don't want
put on a commercial sometime, put on a banner of a website, a YouTube ad. I totally get that.
And I don't want the fans to be vacant, like the fans that are there, the diehard fans. I want them to get everything they always wanted. I just want to see other fans come in again, like that. That's all. And like, you can tell a difference if you go back and you look at crowds of wrestling, and it's easy to say WWE because they've been the most accessible, and the golden era, and you look at the crowds, a lot of kids with their parents. Attitude era, you kind of had a bunch of everybody. You still had kids, and you had women, and they were flashing. I'm not saying going back to that because we're in PG, but now a wrestling fan audience, they just look like black t-shirt wrestling fans for the most part. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I think wrestling could get just a little bit more exciting if more people talk about it. And Aaron, it's all about the traffic.
Yeah, well, we'll
move on here. We're ready to move on.
You need some larger than life superstars. You need that next Hulk Hogan or Steve Austin or Rock. And I'm not sure how you get to that point. Not sure how WWE will get there unless
organically build it. Don't shove it down our throats. Don't make it the only focus point. I mean, long-term storytelling. Just saying that might be one concept.
I mean, it's getting there organically, number one, and number two, being willing to try different things and experiment. WWE just relies on a very safe formula, and that's why WWE will probably just stay in the current position it's in the mainstream world. AEW, they are appealing to the wrestling fans with wrestling, and it's working fine. Will they get more popular? They'll probably have to change things up a little bit, try something different, experiment, and try to figure out how can we organically market somebody and take them to the next level so they can possibly be in movies, be on talk shows, and make the media rounds and all that stuff. Now, we do have a bunch of super chats here, so let me get to those real quick, and then we'll move on.
Good talk.
Colin Andrew did not send a super chat, but he did say, man, this panel is kick-ass. We do appreciate that. The game is on. Yeah, shout out to the Cleaver.
Appreciate you, Colin.
We do very much. The game is on. 100 sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, Tony Khan has money, but WWE is publicly traded. WWE has to listen to stockholders. He doesn't. Only money he is getting on 2 shows, unlike WWE.
Well, I mean, there's some truth to that, but also he still has to appeal to the network he's on. And based on what TNT basically and him have agreed to, they've been pretty much, I think, mutual. And the fact they're moving to TBS next year, which I know is in more households, I'm very curious to see what sort of outreach he will bring. Because at the end of the day, what Virtue was alluding to, he just wants professional wrestling to advance and be more fun again. Honestly, that's all I want too, because all I watch Virtue is professional wrestling. AEW, NJPW, Impact, GCW, Independent, Sport Pro Wrestling, folks. You name it. Jago, I can talk to you about New Japan all day.
There you go.
Oh man, I'm totally down for that conversation.
Let's predict Wrestle Kingdom together. Anyway, continue.
Hey, don't tempt me, man. I feel like there's truth in the publicly traded company aspect, and there's positives and negatives on both sides of that. The biggest thing is the WWE information is more accessible than AEW pulling over their books. So we have to look for that information a little bit harder. The biggest thing with WWE is going to be when these TV deals come back up here in a couple of years. And where does that land? Because when those deals were signed for billions of dollars, is that climate going to still be there in a couple of years? And if they lose those TV deals, where does that leave the company when 70% of their revenue is coming from the TV contracts?
We've been talking about how much WWE might be selling themselves soon. I just feel like it might be more likely.
Yeah. And that's why they brought in Nick Khan, which is known behind the scenes for selling companies. That's literally what the guy does.
It's just weird that his last name is Khan.
I agree.
Weird, just so weird. Any other super chats, Aaron, before we move on?
Yeah, we do have a few more here, so let me get to those. Psycho
We only
Jet
had a few
Black
topics tonight, so we're not behind people.
says Aaron's kissing sounds was so creepy. There you go. That's for you, Psycho Jet Black. For every super chat where you mention, how about this? For every super chat where you mention Riddick Moss or EC3 or Ricochet, I'm going to give you some kisses. So how about that? Anyways,
what a gift.
He's got another $2 super chat, not mentioning any of those three. He said, have you guys ever seen the movie Bubble Boy? I have. It's a pretty entertaining movie. Anybody want to comment on it?
I vaguely remember that from many, many years ago.
Same. I remember something about a boy in a bubble going after a girl, but that's about it.
Paul Simon had a song in the 80s called Boy in the Bubble. That was a good one.
All right. And Johnny Boy sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Johnny Boy. He says, happy holidays. You can answer later. Well, I guess we're going to do it now. But I feel WWE Day 1, a major title change will happen since it's the first of the year. Which one do you think? Well, I think they're going to do a title change just because they tend to do one on every pay-per-view. I could definitely see a title changing, but I'm not going to make my prediction yet. You guys will have to wait. And to answer a question from earlier, yes, there will be a Day 1 predictions video coming out next week, probably Tuesday, 7 p.m., 4 p.m. Pacific. But stay tuned to the NoDQ social media channels, and I will keep you guys updated on that. There will be a WWE Day 1 predictions video, though. All right. So, yes, I think we are all caught up now.
All right. So we're going to move on to this topic. No, I'm coming right back to you. Kyle O'Reilly debuted in AEW, and all three of them, Bobby Fish, Adam Cole, am I watching NXT or AEW? I just need to know everybody's thoughts. We kind of predicted, well, I can't remember what we said when we were talking about Gargano and O'Reilly a few weeks ago. Seems like Gargano's going to take some time off for wrestling. We'll see. The birth of his kid, maybe he still ends up in AEW, but what do we know right now, Noah? We see what we used to see in NXT now in AEW. What's going to happen with that?
I feel
going to get some WWE, like, hey, you did this with us. Now we're going to do this with them.
Again, as soon as Adam Cole came into the company, I kind of saw the era coming in here to shock the system and take on the Elite. I feel this is going to be a major storytelling standpoint for the year 2022 when it comes to the outlook of the EVPs, because they still are. When it comes to the Elite as a whole, you got the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, who's recovering from surgeries after what he's been doing with his body and his mind this year. I feel we're in for a huge six-man feud on our hands that's going to break down maybe into the number one contenders match between Adam Cole, and Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. There's many different layers as far as which way this can go. They can revisit New Japan, Roppongi Vice versus Red Dragon, and start the escalation from there. We saw this past Wednesday how Adam Cole was in the middle. Young Bucks here, Era here. And 2016, I don't know if time heals all wounds based on that segment from BTE, which I also follow heartily. So I think this is going to be a big setup towards a huge focal point for AEW, and that is trios matches and feuds, maybe even our trios championships. But I'm looking forward to how things pan out among all 6 of these men. Maybe Roderick Strong and Hangman Page come into the fold too. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as this to me looks like the main focal point of AEW for majority of 2022. I'm excited.
And there's one guy that was an Undisputed Era that's still back in NXT, right? Roderick Strong.
Correct.
So they still have him for now. So Jargo, is this like, what do you think? Do you think WWE even cares other than Triple H? Like, hey, look what I built my NXT brand on the last 4 or 5 years, and now they're over on Dynamite. Like, I wonder what's going through Triple H's head. What do you want to add to this?
The entire thing is pretty interesting to me. We talked about, Tony Khan and his wanting to pay homage to the past. As Kyle O'Reilly showed up last night, all I could think of was, oh crap, they're not doing an NWO thing, are they? Where it's like, okay, we have the WWE is now invading AEW and it's going to be the Undisputed Era versus the Elite. Like, let's not go too far with this thing. I do like the Adam Cole and the Excalibur, I think it was, made the comment that he's got a foot in 2 different worlds. I thought that was pretty interesting. So finally, we have an Adam Cole-based storyline. What is Adam Cole going to do? I do think people have fantasy booked the Undisputed Era versus the Elite for the last few years. And I mean, I'm down to see it, but I don't think I'm nearly as excited as some people are, because being a New Japan fan, being an old school Ring of Honor fan, I have seen Red Dragon versus the Young Bucks at least, 10, 15 times. And it's a really, really good match, but I'm not nearly as excited for it as somebody that is watching this from an NXT AEW only perspective. It's not the fantasy booking match in my mind that it is in some other people's minds, because I've seen it and it's good, but you're gonna do something pretty cool in order to hook the fans that have seen this program going back to like 2013, 2014.
Now, Jargo, columnist on NoDQ, Mr. Tito, he has been very vocal that Triple H has ultimately failed the WWE with developmental of getting that next WrestleMania star, because he went the indie route, the Ring of Honor route. And he said in the chat, basically, WWE is not concerned. Those 3, they did their thing in NXT when Triple H was at the helm. And to Vince McMahon and those guys, they're not going to be, they're not draws, they're not WrestleMania main eventers. Who cares if they're now assembled in AEW? So he did point that out. I didn't know if you had any comments on that. Agree with it? Or
well, I mean, there's so much of it that's the booking, right? Like, I mean, I don't feel like any of us felt like, Adam Cole couldn't be a WrestleMania main eventer. I mean, he's kind of in that same place where we saw Shawn Michaels before the boyhood dream came true, right? But you got to have the booking machine behind it. You got to have the marketing machine behind it. And Vince has got to be all in. And clearly Vince was not. Maybe Tony Khan will be. I mean, Adam Cole is still only 32 years old. He's got an awful lot to give. I would have not been a fan of the way that they've booked Adam Cole inside of AEW, but if this is going to be kind of that launching point for him, then I'm absolutely down for it, because I think he's a hell of a talent.
Agreed.
All right,
again, Adam Cole's at the focal point of this whole thing.
Yep, that's true. Which, I'm glad, because remember, to me, I felt he was bleeding in with the Elite. Now that his group of recent, is there, the Undisputed Era, it might give Adam Cole some more his own identity in AEW. Aaron, there was a super chat.
I feel like the problem with Adam Cole, before we get to that, sorry to cut you off. The problem is his first feud was with a guy named freaking Jungle Boy, and his second feud was with Orange freaking Cassidy, who is a comedy gimmick at best. So, I mean, you got to give Adam Cole something to do. You got to give him something to sink his teeth into, and he just has not had that opportunity inside of AEW yet. Hopefully, this is going to be it. I've been very outspoken that, every single talent that has left the WWE and went to AEW, they feel like a bigger deal in AEW the second they walk in the door, except for Adam Cole. It's about time that they got around to making Adam Cole one of those talents too.
He might be the slow burn though, Jargo, for all we know. Again, you're waiting for that. Just wait for the moment. And then I guess then you'll think about, okay, did they approach this the right way?
We only had Tony Khan's notebook. All right, Aaron.
He always changes it.
All right, let's see what super chats we got here. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you, Dwayne, for that. He says, just remember, Undisputed Era started with Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly, and Strong came later.
Yeah.
Is Roddy's Strong's wife signed with AEW, or was she just a one-off appearance? I have not heard anything about her being all elite, so I think for the time being, she was just brought in, for the dark tapings at Universal Studios.
Yeah, she had a match with Chris Statlander. A good bout, by the way, and hashtag the problem. I would not say it's her last time in AEW, but she's not signed all elite yet. Among many other talents that I've seen on Dark as well that I think would be great additions to this roster. But again, with AEW, they give opportunity, and then they see who they really capitalize on that opportunity through. That's why they signed people like Lee Moriarty and Daniel Garcia, just to name a couple. So wait and see.
Yep. Jerry Slaughter sent in a $2 super chat, says, pole on a pole match? Ooh. That was bad of you, Jerry Slaughter. That was mean of you to
Feeling
suggest
feisty tonight.
that Adam Cole
that's
should
just
be
the
put on a
humor of
pole.
our general. At ease. But no.
I think Adam Cole has the potential to be one of AEW's top stars. I know people make fun of his height and whatnot, but he gets a great reaction every time he comes out there. I love his music. Maybe the best entrance music for anybody in AEW right now. I think it's a really good song. And I'm looking forward to the Revolution match. If it is, in fact, the Revolution, I feel like it's going to be the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega against the trio, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole. That's going to be a hell of a match. And I know it's going to cater to NXT and AEW fans, but Jargo?
I'm with you, Aaron, but I think it's a mistake. I do not. I think that's Kenny rushing back. From my understanding, is Kenny had like 8 different surgeries that he had to get done.
Yep.
I would much rather see him hold off until May and come back at Double or Nothing than rush back and be here for Revolution and not be the Kenny Omega that we need at this point.
Yeah, I agree. At this point, Kenny Omega needs to do everything he can to fully recuperate himself and not rush into things. I know he still wants to complete the Heyman story. As he said, it's only half over. And again, I feel that's going to come into play eventually here. But I would not want to see this trios match jump start at Revolution if Kenny Omega is not fully, physically, and mentally up to snuff.
Right. And Tom says we need someone from WWE coming from AEW going to WWE. Well, maybe Brian Cage. He hasn't been around, and I seem to get this feeling that Brian Cage might not be around in AEW much longer. Just seems like he doesn't really fit in with what they're going for, and he seems more like a guy that would thrive in WWE. So I could see him going.
Didn't he already lose an opportunity there, though?
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
but EC3,
but with NXT 2.0, maybe.
Remember, EC3 was Derek Bateman in NXT, and then he left, and then he eventually got another shot, and, well, we saw how that worked out. So
yeah,
might not work out for Brian Cage either, yeah. So anyways, maybe Kenny Omega comes back for the 6-man, and that way he doesn't have to do quite as much, and then at Double or Nothing, they can do the singles match. They can definitely get 2 matches out of this program. They can do the 6-man match, and then they can do the singles match, Adam Cole versus Kenny Omega, whether it's Double or Nothing or on a different event. Maybe they drag it out till All Out, but I could definitely
How about this?
Go ahead.
There is another member of the Elite that hasn't been seen with the Elite in quite a long time. What if you do, the Undisputed Era versus the Elite team of the Young Bucks and finally a heel Cody?
That's
if
true.
Cody even goes heel. I feel like he is a heel right now, and that's his gimmick. His gimmick is that he's a baby face that nobody likes.
Yeah, but it feels like we're getting closer and closer to Cody actually embracing being a heel. It wouldn't surprise me if that actually happens on the Rampage show.
Well, again, he did say his favorite wrestler is Triple H, and we saw his last tease with Sammy Guevara to go through the heel tunnel. I was like, oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. I feel a heel turn is inevitable for Cody Rhodes.
And, I mean, if the Young Bucks need a new guy to carry the bags for, I mean, it's a good way to get Cody some heat.
I thought that was Brandon Cutler's job. Kick Brandon Cutler out of the Elite. You're fired.
But then who's going to run the camera?
Any other super chats? That is true.
Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah, we got a few more here. Let's see. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. How about Adam Cole versus CM Punk in a feud? That's definitely a big one. I could see that one happening. I see that as a possibility.
Many different ways this can go, but what's really curious is how we look at the presentation of the Era next week when they do their first trios match in AEW.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. And Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Dwayne. He says, if they did an NWO style faction with former WWE wrestlers, who should the top leaders be? Well, you would want to get the biggest names possible. And, well, I would say Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, if you really wanted to go that route. But I don't think they're going to.
No.
Nah.
They would have done something with Punk and Bryan if they wanted to replicate that. I don't think that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, but the thing is, we all know CM Punk hates WWE, so that would not be believable.
No.
Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt are more WWE-like guys. They're not the indie darlings. I think that they could make it work more. You would really need the guys that people don't associate with being indie darlings. Those are the guys that you would need to be the WWE reps if they were going to try and recreate that story.
You needed Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
You needed Kevin Owens. That's who it needed to be.
And WWE made sure that didn't happen anytime soon.
and I think that, you know, when I hear the reported contract that Kevin Owens got, I think he got paid to not go to All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah, I think that he was able to flex that because at the end of the day, he said that he did this for his family. He's also making more money than ever.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here. By the way, no spoilers in the chat room, guys. Try not to post spoilers. I know
I'm
you
not
want
looking at
to
the chat right now because I live # spoiler free. So.
Are they talking about the AEW tapings?
Yeah, somebody spoiled something from Rampage. I'm gonna delete the comment.
Delete that. I'll get into the main event, which of course, you know, every so many weeks I need to pop our number, and usually we're slow around Christmas time. And here we are about to talk about Roman Reigns, and we got 150 viewers in the chat. And the formula works with YouTube and the guys that look like Roman Reigns at WWE pushes. But here's what we're talking about this time. He fired Paul Heyman as his counsel on SmackDown. Now, did he? He's going into the match against Brock. Heyman did the whole thing. Like, you know, I'm saving Brock, or I'm not saving Brock from you. I'm saving you, Roman Reigns, from Brock Lesnar. Proceeded to get fired. I don't know how this one's going to land. I think we got something going on here. I think we got some swerve. Noah Foster. How interesting do you find this that Heyman, who's really made Reigns interesting as a heel this whole time since this happened, all of a sudden now they're going to just part ways like that at the end of this year, not at a big pay-per-view? Spill your guts. What's on your mind with this one?
Like I said, the key thing about WWE as a whole is the Roman Reigns bloodline storyline that escalates all the way back to the very first time you saw the tribal chief with his new special counsel, Paul Heyman. This isn't the first time that Paul Heyman, in my opinion, the ultimate manipulator, teased this idea of my client and I are no longer together. Remember a while back when Brock Lesnar literally choked the man in the ring after Kurt Angle threatened to fire Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman next week sat down with, who was Renee Young at the time, Renee Paquette, talking about how this guy used to be my friend, hang out with my family, I don't know who he is anymore, just do your job. And then what happened? He and Brock, they pull a swerve and they attack Roman Reigns while he was handcuffed. This, to me, is extremely intriguing for a couple of reasons. Because right now, as far as the WrestleMania program goes, it's Roman versus Brock. They have nothing else, period. But they have no Elimination Chamber. So that WrestleMania match has to be set up at the Royal Rumble somehow, some way. Brock Lesnar has not won the Royal Rumble since, someone fact-check me on this, I might get the year wrong, 2004 or 3, one of those years. It's been a while, folks. But I really think right now this is a huge swerve. At the end of the day, it is Paul Heyman that really is dictating this storyline. And whether or not it ultimately culminates Brock Lesnar winning the title as WWE's booked ultimate babyface at WrestleMania, I don't see Brock Lesnar winning the title at day one. If anything else, I see Roman and Paul Heyman pulling a swerve like Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman did years back. This, to me, though, is definitely the setup of what is going to be WWE's biggest focus, though, for the first quarter of 2022, because this is the WrestleMania program. This is their main event. I think Paul Heyman is literally pulling the wool over everyone's eyes if they aren't seeing it right now. And again, truthfully, this is the only thing right now that intrigues me in WWE.
I agree with you, Noah, in terms of what I think is going to happen with that. Jargo, I know we've heard things that Roman could be taking time off, and it's weird because, to me, that would be like after WrestleMania. Like, there's no way he's going to take time off into WrestleMania season, which really is January to WrestleMania. So what I'm looking here is this happened because Brock's going to win the title, right? So they wanted to take Heyman away to make Roman look like he needed Heyman. Brock will win the title, and then does Roman win the Rumble? Or is the swerve, like Noah just said, which I agree with, is this all a swerve where Heyman really is going to cost Brock? Jargo, I need to hear it from you, a New Japan fan. I know you're just like, just let these two guys get in there and wrestle and beat each other up, because that's what and I want to see that as well. I don't know if you remember, did you watch WrestleMania 31 before Seth Rollins cashed in? Brock and Roman were having a hell of a match.
They really were.
Yeah, I'm feeling that energy now. So anyway, Jargo, take it away.
I think the thing that makes this an interesting story, and the reason that people aren't protesting the fact that it's kind of Roman and Brock, is because the roles are reversed. And so now we've got babyface Brock and we've got Roman. I would not be surprised. I feel like it could be a double swerve. All right. Because we're all talking about the swerve already, right? Like, we're already looking at it like, oh, well, like, this doesn't seem right. Like, there's got to be a swerve here. So is it the thing to do is a double swerve?
So
right?
what is that double?
So Heyman goes to screw Brock to show that he's still with Roman, and somehow costs Roman the title, and Brock actually takes the title from Roman. Like, I feel like there's got to be some kind of a double swerve here, like some kind of a backfire, because I feel like I made the comment a while ago that it was time to take the title off of Roman Reigns, because the Roman Reigns character was getting stale, and we needed to see another dynamic to that character as we geared up for WrestleMania season. And I feel that even more so now. Like, you have somehow things backfire on Roman, Brock wins the title, and then you have angry Roman Reigns who just wants to destroy everybody. I fully am on board to see that version of Roman Reigns going towards WrestleMania. What I do think is going to happen, though, is I think Roman's going to take about 2 months off at the beginning of the year. And I think Drew McIntyre is going to win the Royal Rumble. I firmly believe we're going towards a triple threat at WrestleMania between Brock, Drew, and Roman. That's the way, just kind of the way the tea leaves look to me. And that's why they kept Drew McIntyre out of that battle royal, because they didn't want him associated with that, because they're going to have him win the Rumble. That's just the way that it feels to me.
The only way I can see Roman taking time off, and still coming back in time for Mania, is because the COVID variant stuff's ramping up and all these positive tests in sports, and he's, compromised with his health. I could see him maybe going away for that reason, but it all depends. I don't know. I'm just trying to, I don't see him going away till after Mania, but I'm trying to justify what you just said.
Well, I feel like now is the time, right? Because you don't need Roman Reigns for the Royal Rumble. You don't need him for the month of February. Roman can take 2 months off, come back in March, and find himself into a WrestleMania main event, especially if it's a screw job finish, right?
Yeah.
Like, it just seems like it makes sense to me. And then you've got him throughout the entire summer when the ratings typically go down leading up towards SummerSlam. Roman's been going hard here for about 2 years. I think he's entitled to 2 months off. Now's the time to take it.
It's a good point.
Plus, there is no elimination chamber. So literally the Royal Rumble has to be your key setup point. There's no filter really in between towards your main program at WrestleMania.
Hold on.
Hey,
Noah,
guys, go ahead.
What's the pay-per-view schedule for February and March? I forgot. Does anybody know here off the top of their head? Somebody's got to look it up and see what they're doing here for February and March. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, because when my friend told me they aren't doing elimination chamber for February, I'm like, wait, What?
Guys, I want to ask you this. I mean, we're passing it over to Aaron, but is there any chance like Heyman doesn't go back to Brock? Because if Brock's like this baby face, you can't really have Heyman with him. I mean, maybe you could, but could Heyman go with McIntyre? I mean, you never know what they're going to do. But if you really want to amp things up, could you imagine his scowl and his grimace smirking with Brock and, over there, Roman over there, and then Drew standing behind him? You never know.
A new Paul Heyman guy would definitely be an interesting.
It could help Drew because Drew's gotten stale and boring. And Heyman, look what he did for Roman. I'm just saying, like, do it again now for McIntyre. Make people like, wow, you're the heel now. Heyman's with you. I don't know. Aaron, you're on the floor.
All right. So a lot of interesting comments here. And I know there's a Saudi Arabia show in February, which is really interesting because I feel like Brock Lesnar has to be in that match. So maybe there's something to what Jargo was saying. Possibly a double swerve. Here's what I think. With Paul Heyman teasing that he's no longer with Roman Reigns and he's going to be back with Brock Lesnar, it just seems off to me because Paul Heyman fits in so well with Roman Reigns. And Virtue, that T-shirt, you bought it or you got it as a Christmas gift. That T-shirt is a hot commodity, and I can't imagine WWE keeping them separate because that makes the T-shirt dated. So I'm just thinking from WWE's marketing standpoint that they can't split up Paul Heyman from Roman Reigns right now. But then again, it's too obvious that there's going to be a swerve. So I'm thinking what Jargo said makes a lot of sense because before SmackDown, and I'll talk about this more next week on the predictions video. I was thinking initially that we were going to see Brock Lesnar win the title at day one, so Roman would be having to try to win the title back. We've talked about how maybe it feels like Roman Reigns has gone stale a little bit as champion, and you need to shake it up a little bit by having Brock Lesnar win the title. They're one apiece going into WrestleMania. If that's the main event for WrestleMania, Brock wins the title. They're one fall each, and then you have the third fall of the storyline. Roman wins the
Rumble. Okay, that's fine.
You finish it off at WrestleMania, and that person wins the feud. So my initial thought process was we were going to see Brock Lesnar win the title, but now they've kind of thrown this curveball in. And it was a great segment on SmackDown. Paul Heyman always does a fantastic job. Reigns was great as the Mafia boss, giving him the hug before taking him down. All that was really entertaining. So what are they going to do now? I am very intrigued by it. I will give them credit. They have made me really interested in this match and seeing what they're going to do. But I think Jargo made a great point. I would love to see that, actually. Brock Lesnar wins the title. Paul Heyman, it's a double cross, but Brock Lesnar somehow pulls off the victory. Roman Reigns is furious, and he's got to do something. And maybe he does take time off. Maybe he wins the Rumble. He gets his WrestleMania shot. He goes off into the sunset. He's like, I'm done. I'm going to prep for this. I'm not going to be on TV at all. And in the meantime, Drew McIntyre can step in. Brock Lesnar, you think, would be in the main event of this Saudi Arabia show. Thus, he's the champion defending against Drew McIntyre. Rematch from WrestleMania 36. And then you could either do the Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania, or you could do that triple threat, add Drew McIntyre to the mix. But yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to predict yet, but I would not be shocked. And keep in mind, we still got Bill Goldberg too. He's got one more match. I'm not sure if he's going to face Roman Reigns. Maybe they could do that non-title or title at the Saudi Arabia show.
And Drew, while he doesn't have a whole lot going on right now, Drew immediately becomes more interesting if Brock Lesnar wins that title, because for one reason or another, they have built in that Drew McIntyre has Brock Lesnar's number.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
They definitely got that.
I don't see any pay-per-view after day one, according to the 2020 pay-per-view schedule. It's day one, Royal Rumble, February to be announced, but it sounds like you just told us what it is. Another great show from Country Redacted. And then after that, they literally have WrestleMania in April. Nothing for March.
Yeah, I thought they announced something, but yeah, Saudi Arabia, that's pretty much a sure thing to happen in February. And maybe Drew McIntyre goes heel. There's so many ways it can go. I'm very intrigued by the day one match. And then we do have a few super chats here.
Well, and just Aaron, just real quick, the other thing you can do with Goldberg is you could have Kevin Owens win the title over on Raw and kind of bring that entire story full circle, because remember, it was Goldberg that kept Kevin Owens out of the supposed main event of WrestleMania when he took the WWE championship from him. So you can kind of repay that entire storyline there too.
Yeah.
That would probably be Goldberg's Owens versus Goldberg could probably be Goldberg's best match since his return to WWE.
Yeah,
possibly. By the way, Jargo, botch. It was the Universal title.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Yeah,
Same
one of the
thing.
two.
Same thing, basically.
Stupid belts.
I know.
All right. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you. He says, imagine the Usos betraying Roman Reigns and joining Brock Lesnar. I would say there's pretty much zero chance of that happening.
Say your phrase, Aaron. Highly unlikely in all likelihood.
Correct.
Did Vince Russo become the lead writer again and I missed the memo?
Oh, Virtue.
Ouch.
What do you think about that?
Russo wouldn't do that.
Why not?
Come on, Russo wouldn't do that.
It's a swerve.
Come on.
Swerves.
No.
It's a swerve of a swerve of a swerve, bro.
You got swerve inception.
It's such a swerve. We're even going to bring Shane Strickland back, bro.
Oh,
You
wow.
okay over there, Virtue?
Yeah, wrong pipe.
I'm not gonna use the C word. I just hope you're okay over there.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Anyways, the new normal Jerry Slaughter
Allergies.
sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Jerry. Says Heyman took the punch for the team. It's a swerve and classic Paul. Man is a true wrestling genius.
And you know Roman really didn't hit him either, so
No, of course not. You kidding me? Heyman can't take a punch like that. Are you kidding me?
Roman, I'm still saying Roman's retaining. Heyman's going to be back with him, and he's going to storm all the way to WrestleMania. I don't know what's going to happen then, right? It could just be Brock, but I don't think anything's going to change. I think this is a swerve, and when we watch the SmackDown after day one, it'll be Paul, Roman, and the Usos in that opening segment. That's just what I think.
We got
the reason why you still have that shirt, Virtue. Just saying. I don't see them making a new Bloodline shirt without Paul Heyman being on it. Then again, the Undisputed Era were the hottest selling commodity in Triple H's NXT, RIP, and they broke that up. So,
but after a while.
True.
All right, let me get to this super chat here from Anthony. He says, for a possible final match, who is someone you want to see Goldberg face? I'm tired of Reigns, McIntyre, Lesnar matches. Your
Matt
thoughts?
Riddle.
Yes, that has to be the end game. That has to be the freaking end game, bro.
Especially because Goldberg said he doesn't want to wrestle him. Put that into the story. Make it happen. Professionals are professionals. That's how the business operates.
And that's how Goldberg retires.
Especially after Matt Riddle turns heel on Randy Orton. So you have a heel Matt Riddle versus a babyface Bill Goldberg.
There you go.
I mean, dude, you know, it's not rocket science jargon. Why can't they figure this shit out?
Because this is Vince we're talking about.
Wait, I'll tell you, Virtue, when Matt Riddle goes heel, I think he will. He's going to be a man in WWE. He's going to be up there towards the top.
And it's good. I'm waiting for that. I need that to happen because Robbie Vice, he's going to go AWOL. We won't hear from him for a while. He will not be able to stand me if that happens because of his stance on Riddle.
Yeah.
So.
You know, when Kurt Angle went into the serious heel ass-kicking machine, that's what we need with Matt Riddle. Drop in the comedy and just being a vicious psychopath that he can be.
Yes,
that's what we need
break
from Matt
everybody.
Riddle. Yes.
Yep.
Speaking of breakers, we got a super chat from Psycho Jet Black. He sent in $2. This is in regards to Braun Breaker. He says, imagine Braun Breaker as a Paul Heyman guy. What do you guys think about that? Is it too soon to be thinking about Braun Breaker being in that kind of position?
Yeah.
Yes, it's way too soon. He hasn't even beaten Ciampa for the currently pre-existing Triple H version of the NXT Championship, which I feel will be retired, rebranded, and redesigned once Braun Breaker becomes champion. And I fear what it will look like.
They can't throw that Paul Heyman guy thing around. Didn't they kind of do that with Curtis Axel and Cesaro and some other people?
Yes,
Yeah.
they did.
Just didn't work out.
Flat. Didn't work out.
Cesaro would have been a great Paul Heyman guy if they would have.
Well, yeah, they botched it. Yeah,
They dropped the ball.
Yeah, I mean that was a pairing that I absolutely wanted to see. The personalities don't really seem like they work for me. The Braun Breaker character and what I've seen of him and Paul Heyman, it just doesn't seem like it works.
He's the loudmouth jock. That ain't gonna work with Paul Heyman.
Like, I am very intrigued to see what that next potential top superstar they're gonna push of all the different people we've talked about. Like, I have no clue.
Who was the kid that they had opposite of AJ Styles this week?
Grayson Waller. That guy.
That's the guy I could see with Paul Heyman.
There you go.
Fair enough. Well, what about, hey, Jargo, what about, what's his name? I'm forgetting
Raven?
his name now. No.
Get
Von
it?
Wagner?
What about me? What about Raven?
Yeah, Von Wagner. That's it.
I mean, again, personality-wise, it just doesn't necessarily really feel like it fits to me.
I'm interested to see Gable Steveson because, you know, I think they're going to try to push him hard like Kurt Angle, right? Vince thinks he's going to get lightning in a bottle again. The guy can flip, so who knows how his pro wrestling training's going. That's another guy that intrigues me on how they're going to want to push him because you know how Vince is. Well, damn it, Kurt Angle, it worked. We're going to try it again. I don't know.
I mean, they have Chad Gable, and they haven't even done anything with him, and he literally personifies Kurt Angle type mannerisms of wrestling.
I know, but you know Vince and the short guys, he wants to make them managers. You know, Noah, come on.
I know.
Stevenson's a little bit bigger of a guy. I don't know, but
And he's
he does backflips. That's all I know.
My thing is, I really feel like Braun Breaker at War Games when he had that opportunity to break those chains.
Here we go. You're still on that.
I am. And because when you look at the AJ Styles segment from this past Tuesday, we know how close AJ Styles and Vince are. AJ was sent down there to make somebody, and it wasn't Braun Breaker on the other side of the ring. And I think that was a direct result of War Games.
Interesting.
Yeah. We'll have to
It's a good thought.
that.
All right. Psychojet Black sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that. He says, are we getting a babyface Bobby Lashley?
Yeah, we didn't talk about
Seems
him
like
really.
Seems like he's going in the babyface direction. It might just be for this one match, but
yeah, I think they're just hot shot booking it. Remember, Bobby Lashley was put into this match because he beat the champion and the other two challengers. Just cram everybody in there. Right now, they made Big E look like the weakest component in this match, and he's the champion. Yeah, that's how you.
Well, that's what they do. That's how they operate there.
It's stupid.
I've been on this thing lately about Miro, and is Miro actually a heel, or is he just, Miro? Because, Miro doesn't come out and he doesn't cheat. He's not ripping on the fans. He's just a guy who goes out and kicks people's asses and wants to please his God. I'm kind of there with Bobby Lashley too. Bobby Lashley's just a badass. He's just a dude who goes out there and beats people up and wins matches, and that makes him a bad guy. He's not cheating to win. He's not running around punching people in the penis. He's not, calling the fans a bunch of idiots. He's not, grabbing the trunks. He's MVP's not interfering on his behalf. Like, what makes Bobby Lashley a heel? People want to cheer Bobby Lashley because Bobby Lashley's a badass. Let Bobby Lashley be a badass.
In this time right now, yeah, I would say he's neutral. The last time he actually did some sort of heelish status was against Drew McIntyre inside Hell in a Cell when he did grab the trunks while he was champion.
It's true. Aaron, what was that comment on there? Virtue.
What comment? Oh,
virtue.
You can call a million people trolls and you'll never draw alike.
Aw, thanks, Rez. Thanks for making me make you react. That's why Aaron has me here. Gosh, are we going to ever get Lashley Lesnar?
Probably not.
That's like what people want. Like,
it's the reason Lashley signed back to the WWE in the first place.
I'm absolutely down for Bobby Lashley wins the title at day one. Brock Lesnar wins the title at day one, and go ahead and unify the damn titles at WrestleMania, please. For the love of God, give me Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, winner takes all, main event of WrestleMania. Screw your Roman Reigns. You can find something else
I'm
for the
not
head of the
talking
table
Roman
to go
Reigns.
do whatever the hell he wants. Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. That's my WrestleMania.
You're wrong.
Hey, Drago, you literally just booked. You literally just booked WrestleMania botch. Wrestle
First
Kingdom
of all, he's
14.
wrong, Noah. It's
ahead,
not
right?
WrestleMania if that happened. it would be Saudi Arabia in February.
No doubt. No
I just
doubt.
wanted to point that out.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway.
right. Because they booked the bigger
True story.
matches that actually have context to them at country redacted. Because screw doing something great here.
Yep.
But honestly, I like that because Jago, again, WrestleMania is going to be 2 nights. Lord freaking help us. You literally could build a storyline about unifying the belts. You're a New Japan guy. You know exactly what I'm talking about. They did the freaking thing at Wrestle Kingdom 14.
Yep.
That's all I got, guys. By the way,
it was awful. It was a terrible decision.
I agree.
WrestleMania 2 nights, and I saw Noah like wince. Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom's going to be 3 nights.
Yeah, I
you
don't
guys
know
are
how I'm going to
insane.
survive that. Oh, my Lord.
Okay, I would just like to clarify. Wrestle Kingdom is 2 nights, January 4th and January 5th inside of the Tokyo Dome.
Yes.
And then they are doing a bunch of ever-loving horse shit over night 3 in Yokohama for the Pro Wrestling Noah versus New Japan Pro
You
Wrestling
couldn't
show.
give me Okada versus freaking Kaiji Muda. You couldn't give me Shingo versus... I'm not going on a
Aaron,
rant.
a
No.
bunch of
Dude,
6-man
Aaron
tags.
doesn't know
It's an
what's going on.
absolute joke.
8-man tags, 10-man tags. Ugh.
Major ball drop by both
They
companies.
could have did Kenta versus Minoru Suzuki, for Pete's sake.
I know some of these names. I don't know if Aaron does, though.
Absolute joke.
All right.
But
Let's
nonsense.
go. Aaron, any other super chats or anything before we go to our plugs?
Yeah. And by the way, somebody was asking what's going to be the main event of night 2. Would Roman Reigns' match possibly be on night 1? I think whatever match Roman Reigns, whatever night he's on, that's night 2.
Roman Reigns, if
is
Roman Reigns is at WrestleMania, and 9 out of 10 he's going to be the final match of the entire WrestleMania weekend. There's no change on that.
Absolutely. That's what I was going for there. So thank you for that, Noah. And all right, Psycho Jet Black with a $2 super chat. He's being careful with his choice of names for his super chat because he doesn't want the kisses. He says, Happy Corbin versus Jinder Mahal in an Iron Man match.
Well, you definitely give people an hour to really figure out their lives.
Exactly. And the new normal Jerry Slaughter sent in a $2 super chat, says, Von Wagner is an Adam Pearce guy. Yeah, what was with that? He was there for 1 week, and then he just disappeared. What were they even going for there?
They don't know what they were going for.
Yeah, they have no idea.
When do they? Let's be honest. When do
Script got ripped up.
Yeah, that was
had a bad
quite
steak
bizarre.
or something.
All right, Johnny Boy sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you, Johnny Boy. He says, are you scared WWE will go back to the Thunderdome? I don't think they will.
I hope for it.
Anything's possible. Why do you hope for it?
Yeah.
I hope for it because then they can pipe in all the fan reactions they want and it's not so damn obvious.
Oh.
Because as it is, they're like piping in all these crowd reactions for how they want people to react. And then you can see the fans standing behind them, like doing absolutely nothing, just sitting on their hands. And that just takes me completely out of it.
There's no reason why I can't like watch it. It's like, where's the organic, where's the investment? Where's that energy? You want your product to be exciting. What happened to that? Oh, we're just going to make it look like a video game.
I mean, they've been doing that for years. They did that back during the Superstars of Wrestling era in the late 80s. They were piping.
Yeah, but it's gotten even worse now. And ever since Vince McMahon invented the Thunderdome, which he'll take all the credit for, he's made that pretty much the ace in the hole for every product going forward.
It's Goldberg level at this point.
It is.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. And it's funny that they made fun of WCW for piping in the Goldberg chants, and now they pipe in chants for wrestlers.
Yep.
Just the way it is. And
I mean, not even chants. It's like yay or boo. They can't even get the fans to play along with that.
No, and literally it's like, if you just want something neutral. Come on now.
In the meantime, the entire front row is sitting there on their cell phones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, this noise is going on.
They're arguing with Jargo, they're arguing with me on Twitter.
No, they're too busy looking to see what Tony Khan's doing on Twitter and who's sleeping with who.
Or looking at somebody on Instagram. Posing at the beach.
The whole Tay Conti, Sammy Guevara stuff, I don't care about that.
I don't care about that either.
Pro wrestling fans would be much happier with their lives if they just paid attention to the narrative and not all the crap going on behind the scenes.
Yep.
Jargo, you're asking for an unrealistic world that would be the perfect setup.
But you know
And I
what?
respect
I
that
actually
ambition.
realized, like that's part of the reason I enjoy Japanese pro wrestling so much is because like all the crap that happens behind the scenes, it's all in Japanese and I can't read
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So I don't pay attention to it. I can just enjoy the freaking narrative.
That's a good point.
Sports-like presentation.
Shout out to Milano Collection AT.
Aaron, what other super chats popped in? Any?
Yeah, Psycho Jet Black with another funny line here for us. He sent in $2 and he said, imagine Dexter Loomis getting a rap gimmick. Noah, what would that be like? What would a Dexter Loomis rapper sound like?
Considering he's only literally said one word his entire existence in NXT, I honestly don't know. His rap might literally just be music and him just holding the mic like this.
Making
I have no idea.
kissy sounds, making kissing sounds into the microphone.
No. I'm sure they would pipe that in somehow, though.
They'll pipe in somebody else, and Dexter Loomis will just do the lip syncing. How about that?
But Dexter Loomis actually move his lips because, again, all he does is I don't know.
That might actually be funny. Like there's lip syncing, and he's not actually doing it either.
You get a Grammy for that.
Yeah, some people do win Grammys for that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
All right, Virtue, we're caught up.
So another great show. We're going to go around and do our plugs and see if we can get out of here on the eve of Christmas Eve. So Noah Foster, it's great to have you back again, and you're always invited back when we need you. So take it away with your plugs.
Always a welcome. We'll see what next week brings. Happy holidays to you all. People, you want to know more about me? Know this? I'm just a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it. But I digress. So follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at nfoster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out to WWE Family on Twitter. There'll be a lot of top 10 videos come out next week on my YouTube channel. A bunch of other fun stuff too. And yes, once again, the startup of the brand new NoDQ and NoDQ Galaxy predictions leagues too.
Yes.
So I'll definitely see you on day one predictions. And Virtue, good luck. Oh, by the way, quick note, Virtue, you were short this year against Aaron. He beat you out in WWE. Sorry, because I did track all your predictions too. He beat you by 3
I didn't even know I get 3.
Yeah.
Oh,
you
that
were
was close.
Yeah,
Hey,
you did really good.
I'll have
Good
to
job,
start
Ryan.
fresh. I'll have to start fresh this next year.
I'm looking forward to it. And Jargo,
So
maybe
good to have you on. All right, Jargo.
Well, you can keep up with me across social media platforms at NotJargo, of course, michaeljargo.com, at markmedia.com, and my New Japan Pro Wrestling show, Destino, a New Japan Pro Wrestling podcast. Funny enough, we're just happen to be coming up on Wrestle Kingdom, and I have to do a Wrestle Kingdom preview show. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and tell you now, Noah Foster will be joining me on that Wrestle Kingdom preview show. He
Let's
just
go.
agreed to it. We will make that happen for you here. NoDQ Galaxy. Visit destinopod.com for further details when that will be dropping.
All right, good to have you on. And we'll have a new Rage up after Christmas time over on Vito's channel. Aaron, over to you, and I think a super chat here.
Yeah, we got one from Psycho Jet Black. He's like, screw it. EC3, Ricochet, and Riddick Moss. Now kiss.
That's a triple kiss.
Wow.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. There you go. That's just
Wow.
for you, Psycho Jet Black.
Someone's going to cut that video and make a meme of it.
Yeah, that's going to be meme worthy. It's going to be like,
Get
hey,
it.
this is the Kali kiss cam. Let's see who's on camera this time. And Aaron blowing kisses to the audience.
All right, Aaron, close it up, and then I'll do my thing.
All right. Well, I will not be doing a SmackDown recap since SmackDown was taped. You can check out the spoiler results at NoDQ.com. I'll be off for the Christmas weekend. Be back on Monday for the Raw recap, and we'll be doing the predictions next week, probably on Tuesday. Make sure you guys check out the video on my personal channel. Virtue was in the chat room contributing. We did a Beatles panel. Mr. Tito moderated that one over at youtube.com/Aaron Rift. We might do some more non-wrestling panels in the future. Maybe Virtue, Jargo, Noah, whoever else wants to be on. We can get everybody together and do anything but wrestling. We'll do some panels and just talk about whatever topics. And if you guys want me to sit here miserable, you can send in questions about football and let the guys go at it. I'll just sit here and smile politely or whatever. But yeah,
I'll
thank
do
you
the
guys
same
so much.
thing, Aaron. Don't worry. I was going to suggest video games, but
Yeah, we could talk video games. I'd be happy to do a video games one. We can
It's a
answer
goal.
some video games question. I'm sure Virtue would be knowledgeable in that category.
I know
yeah,
you would be.
I hope everybody has a great holiday weekend, whatever you celebrate. Have a great one. Hope you're having a great time with your friends and family, whatever you're doing. I hope you're having fun with it. Psycho Jet Black sent in a $2 super chat, says, what is the greatest football team of all time? The Jacksonville Jaguars. How about that?
The only football team associated with professional wrestling. He couldn't even name an XFL team.
Jargo, you
Brilliant.
saying the Green Bay Packers. Jargo, what do you say?
Of course, the Green Bay Packers. There's not even any competition in this category.
I'm not going to say the New England Patriots, but just based on history and track record, maybe the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's not my team. I'm just off the cuff. That's who I would say.
Sounds like you're kissing Big G's ass.
No, I'm not. I'm just being, without really diving into the statistics of it, off the top of my head, that's who I would pick.
I have no idea. Whoever has the most Super Bowl wins. There you go.
That would be the Patriots, right?
No, Patriots and or Steelers are up there. You got to remember, Tom Brady won with the Buccaneers last year, so the question was team, not quarterback.
Gotcha.
All right, my turn. Let's close the show.
Let's close it.
Sure. Follow me on Twitter if you dare. I'm a nice guy now, for the most part. NoDQ_virtue. Go to NoDQ.com/merch for all the shirts, such as the I'm Sorry shirt, NoDQ shirts, and Mr. Tito shirts. You name it. Maybe we'll get a Jargo shirt at some point. But that is it for the NoDQ review number 167. I am Virtue, the moderator. That's Aaron Riff, the boss. That is Jargo, one of my new favorite guys. And, of course, Noah Foster and I make up the Simon and Garfunkel duo of NoDQ. So, Galaxy, we will see you again after Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Happy holidays.
Have a good night, folks.